Good evening. I'm Corey Powell. I'm director within the Office of Institutional Diversity here at Texas Tech. And I would like to thank you for joining us tonight for the fourth installment of our Hidden Figures series in recognition of National Mentoring Month. This event is being sponsored by the Texas Tech Red Raider Way, our diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging initiative here at the university. Understanding how important mentorship is and the fact that we all have benefited from mentorship in some form or another throughout our lives, tonight we want to engage in a discussion and share some light on some very influential individuals here at Texas Tech and the Lubbock community. So we're going to start with having them introduce themselves, and we will move forward. So first, we're going to start here to my right. You'll just tell us who you are and how you got involved in mentoring.
All right, so my name is Timon Thomas, and I came to Texas Tech as an international student from the Caribbean. And after I graduated with my master's in sport management, I got a job here at Texas Tech as the program coordinator at Mentor Tech. So I'm heavily involved with the coordination of events for students specifically, and that's what I do here at Texas Tech.
Awesome. Know a little bit about that Mentor Tech program. I had the opportunity with one of my colleagues back in 2002 to start that initiative. We really began it as an initiative as a way to engage students, faculty, and staff, and really help our students make that transition and adjustment to the university. So over the course of about 18 years, directed the program and had as many as 1,100 people in it at one time. And over the course of the years, we were able to serve about 3,200 students, and we had students to persist through the program and the university all the way, and some went on to earn as many as 4 degrees. So certainly appreciate the work that you're continuing there at Mentor Tech.
Yeah.
We'll go next.
My name is Reggie Dow, born and raised here in Lubbock, Texas. Again, went to Coronado High School, graduated a couple of years ago. I won't say what year, a couple of years ago. After that, again, I joined the Navy, enjoyed my time in the Navy for a few years, came back to Lubbock and became a Red Raider. Currently, I am the founder and director of the East Lubbock Resident-Owned Business Initiative, which is a 6-week pre-apprenticeship program to get young people in the trades, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, general construction, plumbing, pipe fitting, those type of things. Currently, I'm the president of the 100 Black Men in West Texas, which is a national mentoring organization, but the current president for our local chapter. That's how I got involved with mentoring, by becoming a member of the 100 Black Men in West Texas about 13 years ago.
Well, I want to say commend you on the work you're doing, specifically helping young people find trades. They're certainly needed today, and appreciate your work you're doing with 100. I'm proud to be a member of that organization as well. Last but certainly not least.
Hi, I'm Dr. Melissa Corley, and I was born and raised here in Lubbock. I attended Coronado as well, and also attended Lubbock Christian University and Abilene Christian University. So not an alumni from Texas Tech, but as I've heard, there's still time.
Yes, indeed.
And I am currently the executive director for Big Brothers Big Sisters. We are the oldest and largest national mentoring organization in the nation.
So appreciate the work, and I know firsthand the work is certainly vast there. First job out of college, I had the opportunity to work for Big Brothers Big Sisters as a case manager, and certainly saw firsthand the benefit of providing our local youth with men and women who would assist them in their life and finding their way and getting out of school and so forth. So thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. So when we're talking about mentoring, let's talk a little bit about why mentoring is important, and I'll start with you.
Sure. Mentoring is important for everyone, whether you're a growing child or an adult. I think it's important to have somebody in life who can just give you some guidance and give you a sense of direction. Nobody should go through life alone, and that's what mentoring is. It's just being there for somebody and just helping them along the way, trying to navigate, and especially for a child, just trying to navigate their childhood and anticipate the next steps as a young adult.
Certainly. So would you tell us a little bit why you believe mentoring is important, and what does it mean to you?
Yeah, so I always like to look at it from the perspective of an international student, specifically because I was an international student, and there's a certain dynamic where students coming from a different country really don't know what to expect, and they don't quite understand what the system is, if you want to call it that. And I think with mentorship, it helps them to get someone that can possibly walk them along that way, and to understand how things are done here as opposed to where they came from. So I think there's a specific importance for mentorship with international students specifically. But in a general sense, obviously I'm working in mentor tech, and I see the impact that mentorship has on the lives of students. It saves people's lives sometimes. It saves their college career. It prevents them from leaving school when they thought, I just couldn't make it anymore. And that mentor is just there to say, you know what, you can do it. This is how you do it. So I think it serves a really important role in the lives of many different students, and it definitely helps them to be better adults as the time goes by.
Absolutely. I think one of the challenges that we first realized with Mentor Tech was students come in and they're unfamiliar, but not only students, faculty and staff coming to Lubbock from other areas, all of us have benefited in some form or fashion. When we come into a new community, start a new job, we need someone to kind of say, as you shared, how we do things here, and those unwritten rules of culture are very important. Red, so you were in the Navy, and I'm certain that you had to have some mentors in that. So tell us a little bit about that from your perspective.
Well, joining the Navy, one thing that the Navy did was I had to grow up fast. I didn't have my parents with me to help me through situations. And so one thing that the Navy did was allow me the ability to, one, mess up, because sometimes you mess up, but then I had people behind me to correct me when I mess up, tell me what I did wrong. And so when I came to Lubbock and I joined the 100, I was still a little rough around the edges, to say, about being a professional, about doing things the right way, doing things the way you're supposed to do it. So one of the mottos that the 100 go by is, what they see is what they will be. And so I was able to engage with professional men here in Lubbock, Texas, that gave me the knowledge to, one, how to be a professional, and two, to be your authentic self, when you're going through the process. And so I'm thankful for that process, because it's a process. Like you said, you need people in your life, one, to tell you when you're doing something wrong, and two, to correct you, and so it's nothing wrong with that. We got to be able to accept constructive criticism.
Absolutely. And I think everyone falls and finds themselves in those moments where you're like, I just don't get it, or I don't feel I can. And so having a mentor, having someone who is there, and in the case of Big Brothers Big Sisters, having a big that is an encourager and pushing them. I recall very vividly the students that, young people that went through the program, and many of them later, years down the road, even now I see them in stores and they'll stop by and they like, hey, Mr. P, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so old, right? But you get to see them grow and find their way, and I think that's the beauty of the work that you all do, is helping them find their way. What are the qualities that you think good mentorship possess?
I think nowadays we just need some consistency. We need somebody who stays true to their word. We've all met people that are in and out of our lives. I mean, it just happens, and sometimes it just happens because of life. But we need some consistency in our mentors. We need them to walk the walk and really show that they're committed to the individual that they're mentoring. Because without that commitment and without that just dedication, it means nothing.
And I think that's regardless if you're a young person or an older person. We need someone that we can find that you can count on, right? That that they'll tell you the truth.
Absolutely.
They'll shoot it to you from a point of truth. Share a little bit about, if you will, personal mentors or professional mentors that have been beneficial in your life.
So I was reflecting on this, and I just always remembered a gentleman by the name of Randy Glean, who I met at my first university, and he told me something once. He said, I'm going to be hard on you, not because I don't think you're incapable. It's because I think you're capable. That's why I'm going to be hard on you, and I'm going to tell you when I think you messed up, and this is what you need to do, and this is how you need to do it. And I just took his advice, and I internalized it, and I saw that he realized the potential that I had, and if he believed in me, then why won't I believe in myself? So that was one of the things that really impacted me from my experience with someone who is a mentor. And I myself engage in mentorship. I talk to young people as much as I can. I'm involved in officiating basketball, and I'm a mentor as a referee, and I work with other younger referees and stuff. So, sometimes we think of mentorship as it's just an academic practice or it's something that we do like in other programs that are very formal, but it can be done in different ways, and that's exactly what I do.
Absolutely. I think those informal mentors can have much more influence a lot of times. And we don't really think of that often, but there are people in our neighborhoods when we were growing up, or perhaps an older sibling or younger sibling, who helped us along the way. And so those should be treasured and certainly appreciated. Reggie, any personal mentors or professional mentors you want to talk about?
Yeah, you know, there's so many men and also women, you know, that I can think of right now, but I can tell you three in particular. One is Mr. Calvin Davis, you know, is one, and Dwight McDonald is the other one, and Chad Grant. Those three guys took me under their wings when I first joined the 100. And again, they molded me into being a professional young man in Lubbock, Texas. They seen something in me that I didn't see in myself, and they was able to pull that out and say, hey, you can be this man, you can be this individual. And so I took all of that and took a little bit from Calvin, took a little bit from Dwight, took a little bit from Chad, and just made it my own, you know. And so I really appreciate those guys taking out the time, because one, it takes time, like you was talking about, and the consistency that they had. They didn't give up on me when I messed up. You know, they just, again, they corrected me when I messed up. So I took that and did what I could do with the best of my ability to become the man that I am today. I'm still clay. I'm still a work in process, right?
We all are. We all are.
But I learned a lot from those men. Yeah.
So I think back to my elementary teacher, my 6th grade teacher. His name was Juan Mojica, and he was just fantastic, and kind of like these men have said, just somebody who really believes in you. And you know, it was the most greatest grade I ever had, because I was involved in so many things, but it was because of him. He said, you can do it, and I'm going to be right here to see you through. And his whole class was in student council. He had the president, the vice president. We were the crosswalks. We were the mentors for the younger grades. We were everything in his class, and it all stemmed from him, and just him believing in us and just being that consistent role model. As a grown-up, I've had a lot of professional influence and mentors. A woman comes to mind, Carol Alonzo. I met her when I went into nonprofit, and she just kind of took me under her wing. And up to this day, you know, I go to her for guidance, and I go to her just to bounce ideas. And it's just a fantastic relationship that I just cherish, because it's just that mentoring that they've provided to me.
So I think one of the things that is so important for those watching to understand is that you don't have to have a particular expertise, just a willingness to share and a willing to encourage and to be consistent with someone. I think I have benefited tremendously from numerous individuals, both professionally and personally, who took that time with me. And I think back to, you know, Mr. George Scott, who was the first African-American administrator here at Texas Tech. And when I met him, I didn't know that, right? He was just this old dude that always seemed sleepy and talked real slow, right? And I went to him complaining because I was really wanting permission to leave Tech, to go to your point earlier, right? And he literally listened to me, and at some point he said, shut up. Not like be quiet, like shut up, right? And I was offended. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, you don't know me like that. But he went on to give me some advice that I take and I use every day. And he said, if you always look for a better place will always be somewhere else. But if you concentrate on where you are and making it better, you'll find true success. Now, as a 19-year-old freshman, I didn't want to hear that, but his words resonated with me, and it really gave me a perspective that I had an opportunity to stop complaining about things and do something about them. And so those nudges, and then, you know, even professionally, having, you know, one of my first boss at Tech, Kathy Allen, she was a vice chancellor, and she had a red pen that I hated, right? Every single document, you know, it'd come back with all these marks, and it took me forever. And finally, I gave her this piece of paper, and it came back with no marks. I was like, did you read it? And she was like, yes. And I said, no changes? And she said, no. I was like, I've arrived, right? But what she was doing was teaching me to think differently, to write, like those professional and personal nudges really make a difference. You said something, Reggie, that I want to touch on briefly, if I may, about your, being open to receive that criticism. I think that's an important component. So what would you say to those individuals who are watching who need mentors or are looking for a mentor, and the importance of being open to receive that constructive criticism?
Well, one, don't take it too personal. In a sense, take it personal, but don't take it too personal to the point to where you get mad, you get angry, you get upset, at the individual for correcting you for doing something wrong. Be open-minded be open-minded about it, and just say, hey man, they're looking out for my best interest and what's best for me. Don't take it to the point where they're just talking down on me, and because we, as men and as women, as professionals, you're like, man, I know what I'm doing.
I'm grown.
I'm grown. Yeah, ain't nobody tell me anything. And so when you hear that, it's like, man, for real, But you got to step back, and realize that, man, they're looking out for your best interest. And as long as you have a mentor that's looking out for your best interest, and then it's not about you got a good person. You got a good person. So that's one thing that I would say, that just think about it as they're looking out for your best interest.
Thank you. Yeah. You shared a little bit about being that, needing that, and like you were told, I'm going to be hard on you, right?
Yeah.
So for student athletes and others who are watching, who are thinking, I want this mentor, but how do you pick the right mentor? How do you know if someone is the right one for you?
The thing is, sometimes the person who you think is right for you may not be the best person for you, because you might be looking for someone who's going to appease your little sensibilities that you have. Sometimes you have to step outside of that comfort zone. As I always tell the students who I interact with, you don't necessarily always want to find a mentor who's in your field or in that same line of work that you want to get into, because you want to see the world and its expanse. You want to see bigger. You want to see what's out there. So I would advise students to be, as you've said, be open-minded. Everyone has something to offer, but some people do it differently. So being open to dealing with things in a different way, and being open to accepting the ideas of different people and not just those who you think are best for you, might be the best approach in terms of choosing a mentor.
Thank you. I think that's so important, right?
Yeah.
And having a collage of, having a variety of mentors that you can go to for different things. And we all have those friends like that. Like, who's going to help you.
Yeah.
You want to go start some stuff, you know who to call.
Exactly.
Right? You want someone to be mad with you, you know who to call. But, sometimes it's that hard love, like you were saying, those conversations that really help sculpt you, like your teacher, right? That took the time. And perhaps he or she didn't even think, right, I'm helping this kid for long term, but you remember that to this day. And so one of the joys that I had while working at Big Brothers Big Sisters was matching a young lady who would call the office every single day at the exact same time to say, do you have a big for me? Do you have a big sister for me yet? And I was so overjoyed the day that I could say yes. And looking at that difference that mentor made in her life, and then having a young man that I remember to this day named Brad was matched with a young man, an older tech student. I think he was an employee in the community named Jeff, but Jeff got married and had him in his wedding, right? So those relationships can be long lasting and impactful. So for someone who's out there, maybe they're a coach or a staff member or faculty member who's thinking, maybe I don't have time to do this. What do you think is the amount of time one should spend in mentoring?
For us at Big Brothers Big Sisters, it's just 1 hour a week. 1 hour. And I mean, we spend 1 hour in traffic at the Sonic drive-through. It's just such a small amount of time, and it just makes a world of difference. And we know just that consistency, whatever that time might be, if you're just consistent about it, it's going to make a huge difference.
So consistency is kind of the theme I'm hearing overall. With Mentor Tech, when you see those young people that are struggling, like, how do you approach each student differently? Because everyone can't, there's no blanket approach to mentoring.
Yeah.
So how do you encourage individuals to have a personal connection?
So some students, as you've said, they struggle, but some people, you have to understand that you can't necessarily be brash or be very aggressive or be you know, you have to give them their time to accept and to come around to what you're telling them to. And what I've noticed is that speaking one-on-one with students and not trying to make it public what's happening or they're going through or anything like that really helps them to open up and just be willing to share and willing to accept. I've spoken to some of our mentors and they've said that they have students who they have to like pull words out of them sometimes. But then at the end of that experience, that person becomes their best friend. So it does take time. It takes a commitment and consistency, but it also takes the willingness to try different approaches. So some people you can just talk to them and they'll accept what you say and they'll move along nicely, while others, they take some more time, they're a bit more reserved, and you have to be patient and just willing to work with them at their pace sometimes.
I always tell students, know what you're looking for, and then recognize that sometimes you don't know what you're looking for. And you know, there's always changes, like at Big Brothers Big Sisters or any other organizations, right? People come and go. Building those real relationships will last and transcend location.
Yeah.
But being willing to admit, hey, I'm at this point, like the students should grow. And sometimes mentors get offended, like I'm no longer an engineer, right?
Right, yeah.
So I'm moving to music. So I need somebody in music, and they're like, wait, why are you leaving me, right? Well, the relationship can continue as I shift and as I grow, and we all have done that throughout our careers. And I think even with our student athletes, as they finish their careers at the university, and you know, some will go on to pro, some will go on to do other things, the relationships can continue no matter where they are. What type of activities do you feel are really needful? We're talking about the need for more mentors in our community and in our institution, right? But what kind of activities, like, do you encourage your mentors to get involved in, like with what you're doing with the schools?
Well, I'm gonna just say this first. I don't think a lot of the times that you find your mentor, you know, I think the mentor finds you. You know, I don't think you go seeking. Sometimes I didn't seek for my mentors to be in my life. It just so happened, you know, those were the gentlemen that I would say God put in place, you know, for me to guide me through this thing we call life, you know. And so sometimes you just don't go out and look for them. They just present themselves to you, you know. And so, and you don't realize till later on, like, man, I learned a lot, you know, a lot from that individual. But as far as that, I think being present is so important to being a mentor. So being seen in a community as a athlete or as somebody from Texas Tech, that is a big deal. So I talk to a lot of the athletes and I tell them, I say, man, you guys don't realize the impact that you have on a little boy or a little girl that you see in the community. By you just showing up to the school, you don't realize they think of you as a professional athlete in most cases, because they see you on TV every Saturday. They see you doing this. They see you do, and so when you come in, just being there is such an impact for those individuals. And so being there and being present is so important.
I think that's so. I love what you said about sometimes your mentor finds you, and typically you don't want them when they find you, right? So unlike Big Brothers Big Sisters, like parents sign the kids up and the kids are excited. When they get older, as you said, I have this. I know what I'm doing. I know my way. I really don't need you. But they see some things in you, like those mentors you saw, that you saw something in you that you couldn't see in yourself, and being willing to admit. And I've had to go back and apologize to some of my mentors. Like, I was a jerk. I'm sorry. Thank you for what you taught me. Like, the lessons you learn along the way are those that can really be long lasting. So as we kind of get toward the end, I want to talk a little bit about all of you have opportunities for those who are watching to get involved in mentoring, right? So, with Big Brothers Big Sisters,
Absolutely.
what does one have to do to become a big?
So you just have to be 18 years old, and I'm happy to say we get a lot of tech students who are mentors, and we just love it. We couldn't continue our services without those volunteers, and so we really need those bigs to step forward. Just be 18 years old. Like I said, be ready to be consistent in a child's life. Just 1 hour a week is what we're asking them to spend with the child that they select. A lot of folks don't know that they get to select the child. And so that's really important because, you know, they are choosing. And just be willing to be flexible, like you said. Try different strategies, and a lot of times our kids just want to hang out. They want to hang out and have fun and play ball and just spend time working on homework together and just have somebody else to talk to.
Awesome. Simone?
So for us at Mentor Tech, we have the opportunity for faculty, staff, and graduate students to be mentors. So that is a brilliant opportunity if you're thinking, all right, you just moved here and you're trying to get connected with the community. This is the opportunity to do so. All it takes, honestly, I think it's maybe even less than an hour, because a lot of our proteges, as we call them, they don't need like someone to hold their hand per se, but they do need someone every now and again that they can bounce ideas off of. So it doesn't take a lot to make that commitment. So all you need to do is find our website. You can just Google
give it the website.
You can just look at mentortech.com.
Mentortech.ttu.
Sorry, at edu, and you know, you just apply to be a mentor, and it's that easy. The process of filling out that application is a bit extensive because we do want to get to know you. We do want to understand what your hobbies are, because not everyone is just looking for someone in their career or field or so. So we do want to understand a bit about you, but that makes the match easier and it makes the match better at the end of the day. Awesome. Eventually, we do pair people up, and you can mentor either one or two persons. So that's just how you get involved. You just find us and you sign up.
Yeah. I failed to ask you how they
Yes,
sign up.
sign up online. It's that easy too. Just www.bbbslubbock.org. You can sign up either to be a mentor, or if you know a child in the community who needs a mentor, you can sign up to get a mentor.
What are the
same
ages
way.
for those kids?
The ages for enrollment are 6 to 15.
Okay.
But they can stay in our program till they're 18 years old. So we'll provide those services.
And I know it used to be real hard for those older kids. Everyone wants
Yes,
the young, cute kids, right?
absolutely.
The little easy ones. But those teenagers really need that
Well,
guidance.
and those teenagers keep you hip and keep you young. So I would
Indeed.
say pick an older teenager. They're so much fun to hang around with. And what I failed to say is that all our services are free. And so the training that a mentor would get in our program, it's free. The background checks we do are free. So there's no fees associated with our program for the mentor or the mentee. So that's really important. And they can sign up online, or they can come visit us. We're not too far from campus. We're in central Lubbock. Just come by and see us or call us. Give us a call.
Awesome. And I know that even if people can't volunteer as bigs, y'all have events that y'all need support
Yes.
with and fundraisers. And so it's a great way for you to get involved. Sir Reg.
Yeah. Well, again, the website, of course, is one of the best ways. It's 100bmwt.org is our website. Complete an application. I'll see the application and get it to our mentor chair, and our mentor chair will contact you about further information on how to get involved. But we are a national mentoring organization. A lot of people sometimes when they think about the 100, think about scholarships. Scholarship Gala, which is great. That's part of mentoring, right? That's part of giving back to the community. But our main focus is mentorship, focusing on young people, focusing on young men, young ladies as well. And I want people to understand this as well. Sure, we focus on the minority community. And I tell people this all the time. We are a inclusive organization, but not exclusive, okay? We have members of other colors, you know, so I don't want that to be a discouragement from anybody to join our organization, because anybody can be a mentor, you know. And don't let your job or your status keep you away. Just because you work at a certain job, that don't mean you cannot be a mentor or be a part of the 100 Black Men in West Texas. So just go to our website. You'll see all the activities that we have going on, and et cetera, throughout the community, throughout the LISD school system, and et cetera. And come and be a part. Come and be a difference maker.
I'm just so excited to have the opportunity to talk to y'all. Obviously, I'm passionate about mentoring and personally benefited from it, and know that it's great. And I commend TCU Athletics and the efforts that are being done to help engage and inform our community about this. And National Mentoring Month is a big thing. And I've had opportunities to go to the national conference in DC about it, and you learn so much, and there's always ways to make a difference. So it just takes a little time and willingness. I would like to thank you all for participating in this today, as well as sharing your stories. And this is one of the many outreach and initiatives that we have going on with the Red Raider Way. And so for those of you who are watching, you can check out more about these initiatives by checking out YouTube or Facebook. And we thank you for your time. Have a great evening.